Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Jets Show. It's Week 11. This week we played the Buffalo Bills, 3:25 p.m. on CBS. Jim Nance, Tony Romo will be calling this game. This is the second year in a row they cover the Jets-Bills game in Orchard Park, which I thought was pretty cool and wanted to mention to you guys. But both teams are on two-game losing streaks and are coming off of weeks where they've made some personnel changes in the offense. So which team is going to look better on offense? Which team is going to get the win and end their losing streak and increase their playoff chances? Find out in today's video. Starting off on the offensive side of the ball, first thing the New York Jets have to do is quit it with the self-inflicted wounds. It feels like every time the New York Jets score points, have a good gain on offense, especially from these past 2 weeks, it's been wiped off due to penalties. It's every single time. You know, someone on Twitter made a great graph of every single drive and how it was killed for the New York Jets these past 2 weeks, and pretty much every single one had a good play followed by a penalty. Every single drive, which just can't happen. It can't happen at all. So after these player personnel changes the Jets have made in the offense, after the players-only meeting, hopefully one thing they took away from everything was that the penalties have to stop. And hopefully we see a decrease in penalties this week. But as for the Bills' defense, and as for how the Jets are going to move the football, let's dive right into that. Well, the Bills have an alright defense. It's currently the league's 17th best unit, allowing around 330 yards a game. Their passing defense is 12th best in the NFL. They allow 215 yards a game. In Week 1, Zach Wilson completed 14 of his 21 passes for 140 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. The run defense is 19th best in the league, allowing around 115 yards a game. You know, in Week 1, the Jets' run game had 28 carries for 172 yards against the Bills. The pass rush, though, is outstanding. They currently have the second most sacks in the NFL with 33. And with this Jets offensive line definitely being a little bit shaky, that could cause some problems for us this week. But how are we going to move the football? Well, the obvious answer seems to be running the football. You know, we had success doing it against the Bills in Week 1, and they're technically worse on that area in defense. But the run game has struggled the past 2 weeks. So just saying we're going to have success running the football is a lot easier than it sounds. I mean, the run game has struggled since the Broncos game, and that's the clearest way to put it. You know, we have struggled to have over 100 total rushing yards since that Broncos game, where Breece Hall had 170 rushing yards. We've struggled to have over 100, which is definitely disappointing to say, but it's just been what it is. You can blame it on offensive line issues. You could blame it on, you know, how the Jets are just running the football, the play calling, whatnot, but the run game has struggled. Could this week be a potential nice bounce-back game for the New York Jets? Well, I mean, it's interesting to say. Last week against the Raiders, who had the second worst run defense in the NFL, the Jets struggled at running the football. So are we going to have success against the Bills this week? I mean, let's hope they can channel whatever they did in Week 1. But whether or not we're going to have success running the football is definitely going to be interesting for the offense this week. Because, I mean, look, do the Bills have an amazing pass defense? By no means no, but it's not terrible, and it's good enough to stop whatever the New York Jets are going to try to do throwing the football offensively this week. I mean, while Zach Wilson's stats have looked better throwing the football, you know, over 200 yards ever since the bye week, the results definitely contrary on the field. And it's just, I'm not expecting much from the pass game. So if the run game doesn't take off, if we don't see success in the run game and improvement in the run game, then I don't think we're going to have too much success on offense, because I'm expecting the same from the pass. You know, the pass rush is definitely going to be getting to Zach Wilson. You're going to be seeing him miss some open receivers. It's just going to be the same old from the passing offense. I don't believe we're going to see too much of an improvement from that, even after all these changes the Jets have tried to make to the offense. I believe the passing game is going to pretty much remain much the same. But if the Jets can find a spark running the football, then we're golden on offense. And the spark running the football very much could be Israel Abanikanda. You know, as much of you probably know, we just cut Michael Carter, meaning some changes are going to be coming to the running back room. Breece Hall, Dalvin Cook, who's going to be the third down back. It also means more snaps for both of those two players. And what role is Israel Abanikanda going to look? How is he going to look? All that is going to be answered against the Bills this Sunday. And definitely excited to see how this new running back room looks. But if the Jets' run game doesn't get going this week, we're going to have a hard time moving the football. But what about our defense? Can the Jets defense continue to do what they do best and putting quarterbacks in purgatory? In week 1, they put Josh Allen in purgatory. He completed 29 of his 41 passes for 239 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. And that's been the same for the Jets defense all season long. I mean, really outside of Dak Prescott, no quarterback has had a good game against the Jets defense this year. And I believe the Jets cornerbacks, the Jets secondary is going to continue to put quarterbacks through purgatory. We're going to do a pretty solid job against Josh Allen. Maybe he has a better game than he had in week 1, but I don't think he's going to do anything too crazy against the Jets. I believe we're going to be able to contain their passing attack. But the run game definitely could be interesting because the Jets definitely have a below average run defense in the NFL. And last week, the Bills' run game got going. They had 192 total rushing yards against the Broncos last week. Now, to be fair, the Broncos have the worst run defense in the NFL, so might put that 192 yards with a grain of salt. But nonetheless, James Cook was cooking last week. Now, in week 1, the Bills had 97 rushing yards on 22 attempts, which is 4.4 yards to carry. Not terrible, not great by any means. And look, I think the Bills are probably going to have 120 rushing yards, but as long as the New York Jets can contain the big runs, they can contain runs that happen on third downs, on important times in the game, then I'm going to be okay with that 122 yards. Because having over 100 rushing yards on this Jets defense honestly kind of seems like a guarantee just because of I wouldn't say how bad they've been this year, but just off how they played. Have they been great? At times, sure, but they've also been really bad at times. They're just a middle of the pack group, a little bit below average, but as long as they can just contain big runs, contain big third down runs, then I'm okay with 120 or maybe even 130 rushing yards we can allow. But an interesting thing about the Bills is that this week, after their loss against the Broncos, they fired their head coach, Kim Dorsey, and promoted Joe Brady to offensive coordinator. So the offense we've seen from the Bills for the past few years is going to look different. Now, it's not going to look completely different because Joe Brady's not coming in and planning a whole new offensive system the week he got hired as the offensive coordinator. That's not going to happen. We're going to see some changes, but it's going to be pretty much the same playbook. Of course, those changes could be make or break for the game this week, but as long as the New York Jets don't let these new changes get ahead of them, the defense can continue to do what they do best. I do believe we're going to have a nice day on defense. The main question is, can the Jets finally score a touchdown, get things going, run the football? And I'm not really too confident that we will. I know we're making all these personnel changes, schematic changes with the Jets offense. We're trying to improve things. We're doing everything we can to improve things, but I just really don't know if it's going to happen. I do think the offense looks better this week, but not good enough. I believe we're going to lose to the Bills 22-16. That's my score prediction. Comment down below your score prediction, what your thoughts for the game are. And I'm your host, Jet, signing off for now. See you guys later. Peace.